Hello and welcome to the VR Untethered podcast, where we are once again untethered from any semblance of sticking to schedules and starting and reality.
Wow, that really came from someplace. Okay, then.
Once again, that's not Josh, but I am Josh, and that is Brad, and together we are not sane.
Even apart, we're not sane.
True, but together we're even more not sane.
I agree.
So, anyways, with no further ado, let's start off with our highlights of the week.
I believe
Brad, you have a highlight this week, so Demeo.
I have. Yes, I do. Demeo, how did you know? Yeah, that game is great. I did not know what to expect of the actual gameplay from seeing the trailer, but after having played a couple of games of it, it really is excellent. It reminds me of the original Warhammer in the sense that you could go from God view to table view and be one of the characters, and it seems very intuitive, the way to move the table around, the way to move your characters around. And it's a fun game. It just seems like a really fun game. And it really is like playing a tabletop game in the middle of your living room. The graphics are beautiful. Really stunning.
Yes, and I've heard some people call the basement that you're in there reminiscent of Stranger Things, and I would have to agree with that. Okay. It looks like it could be part of the Stranger Things set.
Yeah, it does. It actually looks like it could be part of several different sets, but I like it. I think that the way that they set up the game to be able to move the board, to see the angle you need, be able to study everything.
Yep. And I haven't really played around with this much yet because I tried it once and it ended up tilting it in a different angle than what I wanted, because I guess it only tilts from the front angle or whatever. But you can actually tilt to the table so that it's at various angles.
Right.
So that you're not looking down with the front heavy headset on all the time.
Right. Well, the other thing is you can lift it. I don't know how many people know that you can just lift the table up and then tip like you're saying.
Yep. You can move yourself down, lift it up whichever way you want to view it, and have it here instead of down there.
Exactly. It was funny when I was seeing people saying, "Oh, my neck hurts and my husband's back is hurting, and how do we play this?" And it's like, lift the board.
Or shrink yourself down some so that you are viewing at that shallow angle instead of that acute angle.
Exactly. I don't understand, but anyway, the game itself, the gameplay, I might have gone with more dice than just one. That sort of, I understand.
Well, it's a very simplified version of like a Dungeons and Dragon. I mean, if it were real full-fledged Dungeons and Dragons, oh my goodness, that would be complicated.
Oh yeah. Oh no. As it is now, depending on who you're playing and how many cards you get in each of the chests and everything else, it takes a while to figure out, once again. And it seems like a very good strategic game and an excellent game for groups of friends to be able to get together and play.
Yeah. So, I like that they're already looking at doing expansion sets for it, and they did an excellent job at recreating the look of, hey, you got a D&D book in front of you, even though you were behind it originally.
Right, I know, which is crazy because it sets you up. One person's in front and the other person's behind it. So
well, actually, I started out behind it too, or off to, or it was over here and I was on the side, but I wasn't directly in front of it when I first joined the room.
Right.
But looks like a role playing guidebook or a campaign book.
Right.
And then when you go through the tutorial and you have the box in front of you, that comes up and it looks like a fancy role playing anniversary edition box or whatever,
Right.
So
And the
yeah,
characters are done really well. The animations are all really well done.
yep,
And the movements all, limit you when you have to and give you extra. It's an excellent
yeah,
game. They put a lot of effort into it, and I could see them expanding it a lot.
yeah.
Um,
The only thing that takes away from it a little bit for me is some of the voice acting lines that the characters say when they do stuff.
yeah.
Like when the assassin throws out a poison bomb and he goes, "Here's a poisonous present for you." I'm like, what the heck is that?
I know, I know. And also the woman who your dungeon master seems to be a little overly zealous in her reactions to what you do, but all in all, the way
Yeah,
the pieces move, it really is like you imagined if you were younger playing Dungeons and
right.
Dragons, seeing your pieces move and performing the act that the card says that they're doing. So it's
Yep.
cool, it's
Yeah.
in that respect.
Yep.
And I
Um,
have nothing bad to say about it really yet. I'm
yeah.
sure I will.
I am all of a sudden remembering a movie. I am blanking on the name of it now, but it it opens up with like a a guy going through a, a maze or a dungeon or whatever, and then there's a bad guy or monster appearing, and he's preparing to fight it, and then all of a sudden he's running away, Indiana Jones like from a giant D20, and then it's revealed that this is the story that a kid is doing in a role playing game thing.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. That sounds like amazing stories, Steven Spielberg type stuff.
Yeah, but it
Yeah.
wasn't.
Oh, okay. Um, yeah.
No, it was the one where he, he then later on goes and buys a video game cartridge from a store, but he through a very artificially contrived series of events, he ends up with a video game cartridge that has hidden top secret military plans
Yeah, that
embedded
does.
in it, and you have to play through a perfect run to unlock that. And of course, he's really good at it, so he unlocks it, and then he's being chased by bad guys. One of which is a woman who is missing a finger, and she wears a glove to conceal that. It's got an artificial finger in the glove, and he period, periodically interacting with his imaginary friend. So that the one that was in the scene at the beginning, who then at one point or at a couple points, it's like, wait a second, is he imaginary or not? Because a car revs up to crash into him while he's in the phone book or his headphone booth, and the imaginary friend wrests him out of the phone booth and out of the way. So, I was like,
Handy imaginary friend to have
yeah,
there, It sort of reminds me in Doctor Strange when he's putting the universe back together, and the guy, one of the people who is always against using, breaking natural law, it comes back to life, and he sees him, and Doctor Strange turns and he goes, I know, breaking natural law," and he goes, "Well, don't stop now, don't stop."
right,
So, and that type of thing. But yeah, I'm waiting
yeah,
for them to put some good Marvel stuff on Facebook. I really need.
and I saw uh, the gamer tag. He's posted a screenshot of a comment on his video about it,
Right.
of someone just saying, "I can't wait until they do a Star Wars version of this."
That they will do too, you know? I
Quite
think they will.
possibly.
And that is what I meant before when I said the expansion.
Yeah.
They could take the whole idea of this game and turn
Well,
it
yeah.
into a tabletop like Tilt 5 and
Right.
just create an entire tabletop universe. I think they were doing that with Tavern Towns or something as well.
Tavern
And
Tales.
Tavern Tales and start creating these universes where you
Well, yeah.
play miniatures and
Right. And I would not be opposed to seeing them open it up to individual. Excuse me.
salute.
Um, to create their own campaigns.
Right.
You know.
Well, that would be a little more difficult, but I could see them
Well,
doing
it
that.
could be in theory, but all that the campaign is really right now is th- three dungeons, and a backstory to go with it.
Right.
That's easy enough for an individual to dungeon master to do as well. Just give them access to assets that they can throw in. Say, I want these enemies, but not these enemies.
Right. Yeah. No, I understand. I'm just saying
Yeah.
that the various things that you could set up might not gel. I don't know.
Well, that depends on how good the individual dungeon master is at telling stories.
Well, right. I just don't know how well it fits in with the one dot. In other words, the limitations of the game. I don't know how well it fits in for
Well,
modification.
this would obviously be something that would be future down the road after more expansion packs and different enemy types and
Right.
whatnot, obviously. You know.
Okay. So yeah, that's what I was saying was basically they can create several different worlds
Well,
to play
yeah.
at the same time.
Or perhaps even dungeon masters could say, "Hey, I've got these assets. No, can you import them into the game and have me use them? I can prove that I have the rights to them, or whatever.
Right.
So,
Yeah, I think that this will take off, though. I think the
yeah,
idea of the tabletop game, being able to sit down and play virtual reality without having to run around,
yeah,
will appeal to some people, especially
yeah,
older people.
yeah. And um, I know that you mentioned Tilt 5. That was a comparison that I've made. This is the VR version of what Tilt 5 is trying to do. You know.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to think is what they're trying to do. So we'll see.
And I mean, this is the exact experience that Tilt 5 so talks about enabling.
I know.
Is you have a literal tabletop in front of you with the retroflective surface, you know,
Hmm.
and you can crouch down, bend down, zoom in with the remote and whatnot, and
Right.
change your view without changing the other people's view.
So I guess depending on what they build into Tilt 5 to make it either more advanced in terms of tabletop play, but if they don't, then this is showing you that it could be done in virtual and augmented reality without Tilt 5.
Right.
So,
I
it,
mean, I like the Tilt 5 idea, but the one thing that I've never really liked about it, although it is cool, is the reliance on the retroflective surface.
right, exactly. There's a
You
few
know,
different things.
you have to have a a physical object in front of you on the table, which means you need a big enough surface
Right.
for that object.
That's what I'm saying, as opposed to a
Yeah.
headset. Right. Put it on the
Yeah.
headset. You don't need a surface. You could be sitting
Right.
on an airplane
Right.
playing
And
Demeo. So,
and other AR solutions are not relying on actually projecting an image out and then bouncing it back to you. They're just having it be projected on to the lenses in front of you.
and then
So
back into your,
yeah,
yeah, I
yeah.
know. So,
So you go outside, it'd probably be really washed out unless I were in the shade. But I could
yeah,
go outside on an overcast day and say, okay, create my table right there, and adjust the height up a little bit so that I'm not craning down all the time, tilt it up just a little bit. All right, perfect. You know,
But it's done.
you
That's just it.
could do
You
that
play
with the Unreal headset, I would
right.
imagine. You know,
Yeah.
but
And
not the Tilt 5. You know,
so yeah, I
so,
don't see
you
till
know, the
I
physical thing.
I
So,
think I think they missed their window is bottom line.
yeah,
I think they did.
yeah.
And I think Demeo proves it.
If that had come out during the marker days of augmented reality, it would have been great. You know, it would have been ahead of the curve then. But
Right.
now it's a bit behind the curve, in my opinion. No offense to Jerry Elworth and whatnot, but you
They,
know,
they didn't get it to market quick enough. Whatever the problem was, it just didn't make it quick enough. And they'll have to do a new iteration where it's going to be able to do things that you can't do with the, generic headset.
right. But that's the thing is anything an AR headset can do, a VR headset can do. The only thing right now that a VR headset can't do, most of them, is overlay on top of the real world. You know,
Right.
and
That's coming.
incorporate real world stuff. But as you just mentioned, that is coming.
Right. And they beat occlusion just by the nature of their programming and what they're doing. So the entire occlusion thing becomes different as well. So,
Yeah,
yeah, we'll see what's happening. I know we're both
we
working.
have tested the 60.ai stuff before, and it works great. It near instantaneous scan of the room and shoot the ball at a recliner chair. It lands on the recliner chair and it stays on the recliner chair. And that's that enough of an angle that the balls hit and then roll onto the floor. But it's interacting with that object,
Exactly.
you know.
Right.
And if I shoot behind the recliner chair, like the recliner chair is here and I'm here and I walk over here and I shoot the balls over here, step behind it, and then I come back over here, I don't see the balls because
Right.
they're behind the recliner chair.
They're excluded.
Yeah,
Exactly. So, yes, we're getting there.
and
We
that
are
was
getting
all
there.
software. You know?
I know. I know. Well, that's good. After what they did with LiDAR in the Zenfone AR, let's keep it with software for a while because I
Yeah,
don't want to
yeah.
keep cameras disappearing and
I
reappearing.
mean, I was doing that on my wife's iPhone because it was iPhone only for a long while before she had a LiDAR enabled iPhone. So yeah,
Right.
it was all software.
Right. And I had a LiDAR enabled Android phone, which was the only one ever created. And
Right.
yeah, so I
Oh,
know we've been playing in this world a lot longer than most people. So it's
yeah.
kind of great.
So, but yeah, there is a lot that it is exciting that is coming, and we dwelled too long on our highlights, and should probably move on to the new releases because my highlight really is the same. The Demeo is a good game. So,
Yeah. I don't think anybody's
and I went all the way through to the end of it uh, the night before Brad and I played because I jumped into a quick play and was in a four-person group.
uh, it's going to be easier to make it through the dungeon with
Yeah.
more people for sure.
Uh,
Yes, I can see that.
although I did watch a Wolf in VR do a video of just him and his friend Frog to doing it, and they made it through. They barely made it through, but they made
Right.
it through.
Hey, we killed that slime creature pretty quickly, considering that could have wiped us out right then and there.
Right.
So, it's an interesting game. It is good, but like you said, moving on.
Yeah.
Next,
So we have new releases that came out this week. The Wizards Dark Times. I have not gotten around to playing that yet, but from all that I've heard, it looks like it's a really good game. They did a good job of porting it over to the Oculus Quest. The only issue is that going by gamer tags stream of it, at least. It looks like they might have some LOD issues that need to be ironed out. Like, if you've ever watched any of the Wizard Dark Time streams or videos, and they all go through that opening part where the narrator goes, "Oh, you remember some of your heavy magic? That's good. Here, unlock this, and if this requires a push and has opposed to a fireball," and and just walking you through the tutorial, basically getting you into the game. And at one point, you then have to turn on a mysterious machine by using your force push ability and pushing in 3 buttons around it. Well, you have to walk through an archway to get into that room. Well, in Gamertag's stream, he walked up, came up to the doorway, looked in, and he saw a sky, a floor, the machine in the middle, and a spiraling staircase going up in the background. He stepped through the doorway, and pop! In come all the walls and everything else of the room, and he can't see the staircase anymore. So that's a little bit of an LOD issue.
Oh yeah, that's definitely
LOD,
right.
if you're not familiar with it, is level of detail.
Right.
Meaning that the further away you are from something in a video game, it renders it with less detail.
Right. I was going to say you might as well use the LOD and think of it as load time as well as level of detail, because by the time it loads all the detail, it's a bit of time. So you can think of
it, depending, that can really look wonky, like in Second
Pop
Life.
One.
Or well, maybe, but I was going to say, in Second Life, there were these things called sculpties that basically you could create out of one piece, say, a shelving unit, a bookshelf. Problem is, because it wasn't made of individual primitives, it was all a sculpted piece. When you were far enough away from it, instead of looking like shelving, it was like,
Yeah. Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Right.
And got closer to it, all of a sudden, whoop, shelving.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that would be a definite reality breaker.
Yeah.
But Second Life had enough of its own issues as well. But yeah, I mean,
that's an example of the LOD. It's trying to save on the system resources, basically.
well, it's like with Population One, when you're landing and you're coming down and you see the object you're about to land on, and all of a sudden the detail pops out at you
Right.
at a certain
Yeah.
point. It's
Yeah.
like,
Or in Onward,
Right.
the LOD there, you turn the corner in the one house, and you look at the washing machine, and it looks kind of fuzzy and blurry, and then you take one step closer, and boom, there it is in all its detail.
exactly. So,
Yeah.
like I say, to me, level of detail becomes load time as well. They
Well,
really
yeah,
are.
it's kind of like how websites used to, and I'm sure some still do. They have a low-res image that loads first, and then while the high-res image is loading in the background, and then when the high-res image is all the way loaded, it swaps it out.
Exactly.
So you start off with a blurry image, and then whoop, there's all the detail. So,
And it just depends on how quick your graphics processor is going to do that. So, yeah.
right. I mean, modern computers, that's not so much an issue anymore, but they used to be way back when.
Yeah, way back.
Yeah. So like, okay, you need to compress the image till it's half a megabyte in size as your loading image, so that you can load in the 2 megabyte image in the background.
I I know. I know. All the things you used to have to know that you do not have to know now. It's just
Exactly, yes. So, anyways, moving on, we also had a new release of Demeo, or as some people call it, Demeo, or as other people call it, Demeo, or as other people call it, Demeo.
DeMeo. Hold DeMeo.
Actually, I have not heard that one, so to be honest. But that is a minor niggle, is not necessarily the greatest of names because no one seems to know how to pronounce it right, even though they themselves pronounced it as Demeo in their official trailers. So
Right. So let's stick with Demeo.
yes.
Okay.
Granted, that was with a British accent, which means that in American it would probably be Demeo, but we'll stick with the Demeo.
Okay. Either one's acceptable. We'll do it that way. Other than that, though, no. Those are the only two.
Yeah. So, and I think we already spoke enough about this one in our.
I think so. Yeah, we mentioned it once or twice. Yes.
Yeah. And we had another new release this week of Painting VR, which is an App Lab title for $10. So, by the way, the Wizard is $25 US, and Demeo is $30 US. So Painting VR is $10 US and on App Lab. And it's very early access. It's only got a couple brushes available or something, and only one environment, and they will be adding more to it. But this is the app that is behind the video that you may have seen floating around, where someone is in VR painting a recreation of the Journey, the title logo.
Okay.
The video game Journey, not the band. So, and it looks really cool. It looks like it has really realistic textures and everything. It looks good. It's one I am interested in, but I was limiting myself to only one new game purchased to this week, which was Demeo.
I really had a hard time not picking up Wizards Dark Times, those two. That one, I'm really looking for getting.
Yeah, I'm gonna be playing that one via Viveport because I've got it available through there, so might as well. Yeah, that way I can still play it. I won't have the Quest version to talk about. So the Quest version, but no. It looks like the graphics are similar, although obviously higher detail on the PC. So
right, very similar so far from what I've seen.
Yeah. So moving on to our upcoming titles. The first title I just didn't remove from last week, so let's ignore that.
Okay.
We got news of Vermilion VR painting being in the works. It's not out yet. I think it's Steam and PC only for right now. I forget if there was a Quest version planned or not, but the trailer video for this was also very well done in that they had a blurred out Bob Ross video going over here, and they were painting along with the Bob Ross video.
Right, it's kind of funny. But yeah, I mean, they're certainly getting into their art applications more these days. So
yeah, and so both of these look great, and probably couldn't go wrong with either one of them. So.
Right.
And competition is always good.
Yes. Well, it is nice to have a variety of painting applications. I'm sure you're only going to find a couple of them that suit you, but it's nice they have the variety.
Yeah. And another upcoming title is Quantar, which is a Kickstarter right now, and it has Quest/Quest 2 as a stretch goal.
What's the goal? Go? Yeah, I mean,
Oh,
seriously.
it's a PC VR.
Okay.
So
Wow.
they are making it for PC VR first, and then if they get enough money, they'll go for Quest and Quest 2 also. So personally, I think that should
Be
be reversed.
reversed. Yeah. That's why I'm
Because
looking at you like
Quest
that
2 is going to get you more return on your investment, honestly.
immediately.
You
Right.
know, so
I don't get it.
I do understand that it's a little bit more difficult to develop for the Quest 2 because you have to work with tighter constraints, and it's not guaranteed that after you complete the Kickstarter that you'll get approved by the Oculus store,
Yeah.
but you know but as I should have put down in the news, but I did not, there was an article detailing how App Lab developers have been working around the marketing limitations because they don't have the front and center in the Oculus store.
Right.
Yeah. So,
So they've been working around it.
yeah, they have to embrace actual marketing techniques, whereas the developers that get into the official store don't have to do quite as much of, because
Exactly.
Oculus will do some of the marketing for them, basically.
A lot of it, yes.
Yeah. But um, that's why I'm sure that's part of the factor that going into them deciding PCVR first and then target Quest later.
Once again,
That
that's
has something to do with it.
yeah,
But but still, if you have a good concept and you follow all of the steps in the Oculus Store approval process and you meet them all, there's no reason you shouldn't get accepted.
well, if not, then App Lab. If not,
Yeah,
then
yeah,
somebody, Chop Shop, So, but
yeah, yeah,
somebody will get you
yeah.
if you
So
do a good game. Hey, I'm looking at Larcenauts, which I guess is probably on the next one here,
yeah, that's
and
on the yeah.
made by the makers of the now defunct Farpoint,
Yes, which
Frostpoint.
was a good game. Yeah.
It was a decent game. It wasn't a great game. It was always decent. So
Well,
I
yeah.
don't.
I mean, yeah, I wouldn't call it a triple A or just the top of the charts or whatever, but it was fun. I played it at a GameStop store demo back when they were still doing the PSVR demos,
Oh
and
my
you
God.
had to come at the day that they were doing the demo.
Right. And
Yeah.
hope that the machine didn't break down during the demo. Yes. I mean, the
Yeah, and so
immersive.
I got to use the aim controller, and they were asking me if I wanted to sit down forward or stand up. I chose to stand, and um, because it's a front-facing thing, you have to use the stick to turn.
Right.
Yeah, so that's why they recommended people
Sit.
sit
Yes.
down because not everybody had VR legs back then, and
Right.
still not everybody does. But
No, I
I was
know.
like, I'm good.
Which is always surprising. It's for people on their first VR trip, but
But no, it was a fairly well done game, and I look forward to seeing what they do
with
with
Larcenauts.
Larcenauts. But before we get into more detail on that, let's go to the top of the news section and talk about there's a website that is pirating side quest apps.
Yeah, I saw that this morning. Like, what? What?
Yeah, and they are taking free and paid side quest apps, reposting them on their website for free.
That's not going to cause too many issues, huh?
No.
No, not so.
So that not good. Um,
I know.
yeah,
What?
hopefully they get to taken down soon.
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. It's crazy, but
Yeah.
yeah, I don't see how they could exist like that. But I,
Well, they have ads on their site.
no, I mean, I don't know how side quests didn't protect themselves from somebody doing something like that.
Oh, well, I'm sure SideQuest will take moves,
Steps now,
but I
right?
don't know what steps they can take, given that you have to download the APK from them.
Yeah, I know. It's
You are
like,
doing a download, and that can be intercepted. You know,
hmm, yeah, that's true.
so I, you know, I'm not sure entirely how they can prevent the stealing of it, but they can certainly decry this website, which I'm sure they have or will if they haven't already,
Right. But the
and say,
distribution,
hey, remember, that's piracy. We are not. Yeah.
exactly, exactly. It's just a matter of getting it in front of the right judge before they go out of business with everybody
Right.
taking all the free games.
Right. So, but in other news, Super Hot and Gorilla Tag both have got 120 hertz now. So
Which is
Super
nice.
Hot not completely super dead.
The funny thing about Super Hot is
It's
they
just
are at
mostly super dead.
mostly super dead. But no, it's coming back. It's still like one of the hottest selling games. So I guess
Yeah,
why not? It's still a
they're
great game.
developing more for VR.
It is a great game though. I mean, there is no getting away from it. It's
Yeah,
perfect. So
yeah, yeah. The only downside is the one puzzle that I've heard about that's a little morally questionable, especially if you have a little kid playing it.
mm,
Uh,
okay.
do you know what I am referring to?
No.
Well, evidently, I have not played it all the way through. I've only played the demo. Evidently, there is a puzzle where the only solution for the puzzle is to,
No, you could jump out the window.
well, that's a similar thing.
Right. It's suicide. You're given a choice. There's a gun on the desk and there's a window behind you, and you can do nothing other than use the gun or the window.
Right. And I can understand that perhaps not appropriate for younger kids to be doing. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
In
No,
VR, where it feels real. You
right.
know,
I know. I know.
it
When I jumped out that
potentially
window, it was,
for some people.
yeah.
So that is a I can understand. Just, some people concerns with that puzzle.
Well, yes, but I mean, we can start going into the zombie games and talking about
No,
some moral questions as well. So let's, avoid the morality tales and just say that it's not
I know.
real.
I'm just
So,
yeah. I'm just saying that one scene in there.
right. You don't want your 10-year-old kid coming and say, Dad, is the best way to commit suicide with the gun or jumping out the window? That's a,
So, anyways, also we have hints that maybe Oculus is thinking possibly about bringing Android apps officially to the Quest.
you mean before Android does it?
Well, no,
I know, I saw.
they've got a few people like the Mystical on YouTube has or a few people have um, uncovered coming soon images
Yeah,
showing things like
the Android game.
Spotify or the Discord or.
Right, exactly, which makes sense. I mean, really,
Yeah.
why not? So,
But at the same time, from my perspective, if they're considering doing this, why are they not considering following through on the promise of making all the Go and Gear VR games accessible?
Because they're Facebook.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
Here you were looking for this complicated answer when it was right there in front of you all the time.
Well, no, I mean, it's like, okay, it's great that they might be considering officially bringing some Android flat apps, which is good, but I mean, you can already do that through side loading. It
Right.
just runs Oculus to TV, but I'd rather have my Gear VR apps available. I've got a lot of those.
Right. Give me my Go. Why can I do it on my Quest 1 but not my Quest 2? What did you
Right.
do? What did you do? It's like, how did you make it not work? It's
Right.
crazy. So yeah, I'd
Yeah.
like to see them bring back my ability to get to my Go library.
Yeah, I mean, I get that not all of them are going to be fun experiences because they weren't designed for 6 degrees of freedom tracking. But some of them did have that built in. And if you put it on the Quest, it just pushes to that. Some of them, it just as fun. You just have to make sure you don't move around much in your room. Because otherwise you'll look to your right and you'll see your body over there.
But the thing really is, it's like it is crazy that they've cut that off. I mean,
Yeah.
I agree. I
there
won't even get it.
are just some games that I'm sure would not work very well, but there are a lot that would work.
Hey, there are 6 degrees of freedom game that suck. It doesn't have to have 6 degrees of freedom to make it good.
Right.
There's plenty of 3 degree games that were fine, but
Yeah.
whichever.
Like there was the Smashing the Battle game. There was a 3-DOF game that, you are literally, you're not moving around very much. You have no need to because you are controlling the third person character out on the battlefield. That would translate just fine to the Quest 2.
Well, that was
share
like
control just as well.
any forward motion game would
Yeah.
transfer well. So like 90% of the voxel games and any of the other games would have
Right.
transferred perfectly. So I don't get it.
Or
You just have a lot harder time
Witchblood.
zone. It was also Smash.
Witchblood. So that would translate well too.
Yeah. But there's a lot of games that would.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying is it 6-DOF wasn't necessary for everything.
In Witchblood's case, there was a Rift version already, so but yeah.
Rift. What's Rift?
I don't know anymore.
I know. Rift, didn't that exist sometime around the Zune days?
Something like that. So moving on, VR Power 2 for Quest 2 is, I think, now available or will be available soon. I forget which. But it the battery pack that is designed to fit on the back of your strap, and they've got now one that's designed for the Quest 2 strap. I'm not sure if it's designed for the Quest 2 elastic strap or the Elite strap or both or either.
It looks like the elastic strap when they're showing a person wearing it. It's the rebuff reality one you're talking about, right?
Yeah.
The white one.
Yeah.
It looks like it's sitting on the
elastic.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which I guess maybe the weight will, counteract or whatever. Who knows? Or maybe it's fitted so that it's contoured to the back of your head. I don't know. I just know that so far I'm not going to say anything, but so far I'm able to play. That's all. But it's interesting that Rebuff Reality keeps trying to introduce these things. It's like,
it makes sense, to have it designed for that headset's straps. Because otherwise you have to do things like, okay, I've got to use rubber bands and Velcro straps to put a regular blocky battery
I
pack
know.
on the back of my headset, or to stick it in my pocket and then have a cord dangling down, which I'm gonna tangle up in my fingers when I go to do a punch and then rip it all out, and you know.
To me, yes, I do. The one thing that I've realized, though, that we haven't ever brought up, and it's really come to my realization over the last few weeks, most people think it's more expensive to get into virtual reality than it is to play PlayStation or Xbox. They have no idea the price of games, the price of the headset.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's expensive, really. I mean,
Exactly.
yeah,
When I explained to them that, yeah, for $300 or $400 you could have the console and the games on the expensive side are 30 as opposed to 50, 60, and 70, and they look
right.
at me and they go, "What?" And that's virtual reality? Yes. you
Yep,
know. And it's like they have no clue. In their mind, they're still thinking back to the $5,000 computer,
right,
goggles,
right.
light boxes, all that type of stuff. I don't know where they've been. It's like
I don't know.
Quest still needs
They've
to
been
do.
in La La Land.
No, there needs to be more advertising. There really does. They're
Oh,
missing.
oh, speaking of advertising, I didn't put this in the news, but I thought about it. Um, so it counts.
Okay.
The Facebook and Oculus have this big, huge ad about how gyms suck, and you could have a gym in the headset itself, basically.
Right. And it's true. It's funny because whenever anybody tells me they're going to join a gym, it's like, no, buy a headset.
Yeah,
You'll use it a lot more.
yeah. The only thing is you can't weightlift very realistically with it.
True.
but almost everything else you can do at a gym, you can do just fine with that. You could use the treadmill if you've got one. You can use the bike if you buy the
The
VZ
BC
Fit
Fit.
add-on to track it. You can use the rowing machine. You can do stretching.
Right.
All that stuff that you do at a gym, you can do just fine with the virtual reality headset.
Not to mention dancing, Beat Saber, and all the other games that they had originally for moving around
Yep.
and getting yourself
Yep.
going. So cardio,
Yeah.
your name is VR. So I try and let people know, listen, you don't have to buy an Xbox X or a PlayStation 5. You can actually buy a virtual reality headset and get used to playing in the game as opposed to on your TV
Right.
for
Right.
just less money. And then they
Yeah.
look at you like you landed from another planet. What do you mean for less money? It's like,
Right. Speaking of less money equaling larceny, Larcenauts from Farpoint developers is coming in.
it doesn't look that great either, but it's okay. We'll see what
Well, it's
happens.
a hero shooter or MOBA, whatever you want to call it. So,
Right. There's plenty in the genre.
it looks like it's got the potential. It may not be a number one top selling game, but it looks like it should be fun. Looks like it should do a lot better than Frostpoint did.
Well, as long as it
I
does
mean,
better than
granted,
someone
that's a different
else.
kind of thing, but
Yeah.
and it also honestly looks more fun than Cradle of Sins does. I tried Cradle of Sins a couple times on the beta. I could never get it working with Virtual Desktop, but they're working on a MOBA also. It's taken them a long time. So Farpoint devs we know how to bring a game to market.
Right. But it
So
was
they're working on Larcenauts. They've got appealing characters and whatnot. I expect this will probably be out before Cradle of Sins is out.
I agree.
No,
I agree. But
no. And it may not be top notch, overworked Overwatch quality version of it, but yeah.
I guarantee you it'll be out before Battle Wake for the Quest.
Yeah, I think you are correct with that. Yes.
Okay. Sorry, Mikey.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, and I think we may have mentioned this before, but I'm not sure. But Stride has been accepted onto the Oculus store, so it is coming to Quest. We don't know exactly when, but it is coming.
Yes, we do know that.
Speaking of cardio.
Yeah. Well, you're going to get a heart
That's a
attack.
very cardio game because you have to pump your arms and raise your hands to jump and
Yeah, it's going to be a workout for sure. Never mind the gym. You do parkour for a while, and you're fine.
yeah.
So,
Yeah. Yes. So, and yeah, it's kind of a minimalistic environment and not as much of a as the original game that it kind of resembles Mirror's Edge, but
close.
But it looks great.
Right. Exactly. For what it is, it looks great.
Yes. So, meanwhile, Oculus headsets evidently are now 60% of Steam VR headsets.
I know.
Oculus domination much?
Yeah, you think? And they're, yeah, no need to go on. At this point, it's like everybody else that comes in is going to have to do something really spectacular to get noticed.
Yeah, I mean, I'm all for competition, but right now there really isn't any. The Oculus Quest 2 is literally the best and most versatile headset around. It's not necessarily the best in all of the features, but it's the most versatile.
Exactly. And it probably comes in very close to the best on all of the features.
Yeah, I mean, like, is resolution, I think, is on par with the Vive Pro.
Yep.
So
I own a Vive Pro, and I can tell you it is. So,
yeah. So, it's like, come on. $300, $900.
$900 attached to a $2,000 computer.
Right.
So
$300.
Exactly. Thank you. I'll take two. But
exactly. So yeah, like if competition ever comes, they've got their work cut out for them.
Basically, when Apple comes out with their headset next year is when I'm looking at serious competition.
When the competition is going to come, really, is whenever Apple gets off their butt and they put something out there.
Exactly. I don't see Vive doing it, but we'll see what happens.
I mean, yeah, we've got ViveCon coming and 2 headsets or more being announced and whatnot, but come on, it's going to be enterprise. It's going to be highly expensive.
I don't know yet. Apple keeps talking. The numbers keep coming out anywhere between 600 and 3,000. It's like something in between those. And
I mean, Apple is going to be more expensive also, but knowing how Apple works, they might be able to subsidize through cell phone carriers. Maybe.
I don't know yet.
I don't know.
Yeah, we'll have to see.
That's a possibility, Or they might just say, hey, we're Apple, you can do a payment plan with us. And you froze. And we're back. Sorry for that interruption. Obviously, Brad is no longer in the same location as he was. No.
Yes. Quick move.
So computer issues on his end, so he had to switch to his phone. So we're almost at the end of our show. So so as I was mentioning, Apple could easily say, "Hey, we've got a payment plan," or as Brad was mentioning just a couple minutes ago, we could say put it on your Apple Card or things of that nature to offset the price. And currently, Oculus did not do that. They could offer a payment plan, but currently they don't. And at the price point that they're at, they don't really need to, because it's more of an impulse buy.
Exactly.
So, that brings us to our last bit of news for the day, which is, I'm not sure why it came out now, which is like 3 months later, but Lucas Risotto, or so probably because he just uploaded the video for it. Lucas Risotto, the developer behind, oh crap, what was Where Thoughts Go.
Right.
I don't know where my thoughts went on that. So
they're on the crowd. So.
Yeah, they were off over there somewhere.
Right. Go away, thoughts. Go away.
But anyways, he made a AR music thing that him and his girlfriend use each other's bodies as instruments.
Right.
So I haven't watched the full video yet, just a short snippet of it, but it shows her with her hand out or her arm out like this, and him going like this, and a note plays, and then he moves up, and another note plays, comes back down,
Right.
So yeah, it's sounds like a fun Valentine's Day sort of thing, or a couple's thing.
I was going to say Valentine's Day. We're going to have to wait a while to try that one again. But for right now, yeah, couples,
yes.
After
yeah, but that's hey, I thought it was a good note to end the show on.
From saying anything other than my reaction.
But yeah, that's the kind of thing that currently, anyways, AR is better at than VR.
Sure.
So, but again, at some point, that will no longer be true, because we will have true MR headsets, which are mixed reality, where you can, VR, AR, yeah, or even just seamlessly blend in between them.
I think that is where we're headed, but yeah, probably at least another 6 months before we get
there. Probably another 6 months times 2, realistically, in my opinion. But yeah,
6 months times 8. But okay, keep thinking positive thoughts.
That the point is that's a little bit ways out still. So, anyway, that brings us to the end of the show. So, once again, as always, shake your head like Rad's phone is shaking. No. And drag your friends over to like and subscribe, because the more people that like and subscribe, the less Rad's phone shakes.
Hurry up. Start liking and subscribing.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah. So have a great rest of your week. Have fun. If you made it this far, thank you. Bye.